Tuesday night in Manchester, this is where it's at! With Christmas mood in Manchester, yeah? We're gonna party like it's lockdown, we're in number 10! My mum and dad are backstage right now. Dad's getting pretty tacked up on WKD. Yeah, that's his rider. 6 bottles of WKD blue and a defibrillator. He gets pretty into these shows, comes out hot. There's not going to be some ketamine backstage. I was like, easy, mate. So how did this come about? Good question. Since my mum and dad have become reality TV stars, they have desperately been trying to elongate their 5 minutes of fame like a pair of geriatric Love Islanders. They had, of course, hoped this Christmas season to book a pantomime. They were going to do one at the Lowry, they were going to be the front and back end of a pantomime horse, but unfortunately Michael Whitehall swore too much during rehearsals and they cut him entirely from the show, so this also is a show that has taken on a whole new dimension of late because of my recent career sidestep somewhat into family entertainment. I now make family films, ladies and gentlemen. It means that this evening the stakes have been risen considerably higher. I am now a family entertainer, and tonight my father will be sat in this seat with no script, with no microphone. He will be here, and we will be one comment away from him derailing my career before it has even begun. We're one impression away from the Hollywood career in tatters and me back on League of Their Own gushing off Freddie Flintoff. That's why I've got this little bastard here. Yes, that is my emergency button. I hit that, and at any point during the evening it will kill Michael Whitehall's microphone. This is my Michael Whitehall instant cancellation button. It's also why I need you all to turn off your phones and not film anything this evening. I don't want any evidence of what goes on in this theatre tonight. This is a safe space. I've already turned off my dad's phone for him. He doesn't know how to do it. I have access to his phone now as well. Yeah, my dad's so old, I can get into his phone on Face ID by showing him my testicles. Wait till he finds out he's got a Grindr account. I'm not kidding for being bad with technology, I am just as terrible. Oh my god, is it just me, or are those I am not a robot tests getting harder? Think you've spotted them all. Oh yeah, got all the fire hydrants. There was one down here, look! A white one in front of a white wall. They're fucking red, everyone knows that. Now I'm going to spot ones that use camouflage. What kind of shit housery is this? Do you ever get stuck on the I am not a robot test for so long that you stop and suddenly go, fuck, maybe I am a robot. Maybe science fiction films have lied to us. Maybe this is how robots realise they're robots, because they just can't work out whether a traffic light consists of the box of lights or the post that it's on as well. We should probably get this show on the road before my parents get too inebriated. I will tell you this as well, like, this show is, you know, it can be a bit of a car crash some nights, I'm not going to lie. It's a bit like a sort of live, slightly posher version of the Jeremy Kyle show. I was going to be the subject as well of the interview. That was the plan here. I was going to be the star of the show. We were going to get a host, someone to come and interview us on stage. I asked my dad for a list of approved hosts. He sent back 3 names. 3 names were his 3 approved hosts. One of them had been arrested in Operation U-Tree, and 2 of them were dead. So instead, I find myself hosting a show and interviewing my mum and dad. So, let's bring out my interviewees. First up, she's my mum.
whitehall.
Do I get champagne?
Get a drink. Certainly. Here it is.
A Ribena.
Yeah.
I'm 33 years old. I'm not drinking fucking juice box.
These people have paid good money. I don't need you slurring.
Fine.
It's a bit exciting for you to be back in Manchester, isn't it?
Yes, very. I love being in Manchester. My university city.
I sent him to Manchester University.
He's got some beard.
I'm going to start. I sent him to Manchester University, hoping, obviously, that he would come back with a degree. Did he? No. All he did was come back with a dose of the clap.
Coming in with that, that's the opener for this evening, telling them that I've got STDs. I'm still reeling from the fact that you gave him a bigger cheer. I walked out, barely anyone was even paying attention. This guy in the front row was scratching his arse. He walks out, it's like Lady Gaga had just walked onto the stage.
Jack, you just have to accept that he is bigger than you in more ways than one.
You've been drinking backstage. Okay, let's start the show.
Come on, Jack, admit it.
What?
Let's just get that all out of the way. Okay? Brother Barney, boom. Very well done. You always had a problem down there. But you've had great success, you're an attractive young man, and, you know, we're very proud of you. But that's one department that, well, let's say we put it on hold.
Can we maybe talk about the book?
Yeah.
Rather than my appendage.
Absolutely.
So, this is the weirdest start to a show ever. So, we wrote this book. I wrote this book. I sent it to my mum and dad to spell check. That's all they were required to do. And then, fucking emails for months. Her sending back ideas for herself, chapters that she wanted to write as well. At one point, you started sending me recipes.
Yes, I did. These good people needed to have my recipe.
How to survive family holidays.
Yeah.
It's not a cookbook.
Can I just say though that my Moroccan chicken tray bake is a winner, and these people would have loved it. It's Moroccan.
God, I don't know how they're going to sleep tonight.
It was Moroccan.
When you say you sent it to us for a spell check,
Yes.
I mean, what you sent us was like the Battle of the Somme. It was a battlefield of misspellings and bad punctuation, and then you lost track of stories. And I mean, your mother worked night and day to get that into some sort of shape. And then, of course, I added the coup de grace with the witty.
Don't speak French, mate.
Because you worked night and day, didn't you?
I did.
To pay for his education.
To pay for you.
Yes.
Oh, I did. Nice.
This is what my Christmas is like, by the way. It just is. For a week.
It's like to keep you grounded.
I was on the coalface, working day and night to pay for his education.
Sorry.
And you know,
The coal face.
yes, I was up there, the miner, sharp end of the coalface,
A miner.
working very, very hard to pay your school fees.
You were Christopher Biggins's agent. How is that like being a miner?
I was never Christopher Big. I was Christopher's friend, and I helped him out with some deals, but I was not his agent.
Just his friend and lover. You coal miner.
That's just not true.
You coming back after a hard day down the pit, covered in soot. You've been at the hard face of coal mine. The only thing you'd be like to come and covered in would be bullshit.
Any fathers watching this?
Or any coal miners. Do you know the real reason I wanted to write this book? My inspiration. I read a book by the most incredible author and it changed my life. And I put it down and I thought, I'm going to be a writer now. It inspired me to want to be a writer. She inspires me. She's an incredible writer, incredible woman. I don't know whether you read the book yourself, Daddy. I know how much you love Megan.
I just can't believe you're telling that story. Well, first of all, you know you never read the book. And secondly, you know exactly what I think about, particularly, about, I don't know how to read a book, I've got to get my ruler. The J-Chat. The things that man's done to our monarchy, I just can't believe.
So, was that your impression of Prince Harry? Can we have that again, please? Your impression of Prince Harry?
You've written a really good book, Megan, but I don't know how to read, so I can't do anything.
There goes the luxury.
Don't get me on Meghan Markle.
No.
Drag out the police.
I'm not afraid to use it.
Let's change the subject.
Do you know what the cover of the book was going to be before the publishers vetoed it? This was the original cover of the book because I was so inspired by her. This is that should be the family Christmas card, by the way. Michael, this book that we have written is of course not the first book that you have written. Because you've written quite a lot of books. You've been what? You've been nominally famous for maybe 5 years. How many books have you written in that time?
4.
4. You're literally cranking out autobiographies at a quicker rate than Katie Price.
They're not autobiographies, they're stories of my life.
Like history books.
No, just stories. I mean, my first book, Shark Infested Waters, was about my years as a young man growing up in London in the 60s.
And heading off down the mine. Michael's Ashes.
It was a very successful book.
I actually saw a copy of it the other day. Shark Infested Waters. It was in Waterston's in the reduced to clear section next to the Rolf Harris autobiographies.
I worked very hard on that book to make it a success, and there are still people who, ask bookshops and on internet, what's it called, Amazon. It's still very, very popular. So go off to your local bookshop and ask for Shark.
Look, that's not the book we're selling. Not your
I know, so we'll talk about that and then let's just get to that.
Just to say.
But don't you agree, Evelyn?
No, I don't. You said it was very successful. It got pulped.
Your book got pulled.
Do you remember?
Yeah, well, I do remember, but that was nothing to do with the brilliance of the book. It got pulped because the publisher ran out of money and he couldn't afford to store the books in a warehouse, because he couldn't afford the rent. So he just pulped them all. That's the true story, isn't it?
It is a true story.
So then it became very difficult to get hold of copies.
I have a couple of copies of it still, and I have to say it did come into its own during the toilet roll shortage during the pandemic. You've had an amazing trajectory into superstardom now, both you and Michael in particular. What's the weirdest offer you've had since becoming, a minor celeb?
Do you remember that one?
No,
Do you remember that one last year that you had? No, actually, at the beginning of the year, from the ad agency that called you. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
That was weird. I think you should
Are they gonna
share.
want to hear about
Yeah,
it?
they definitely. Particularly now.
There is a very famous advertising agency, and I won't mention the name because you probably would have heard of the name. Well, no, you would. I don't want to be patronising to you in Manchester, but you probably was patronising. But I knew that they had been paid a huge amount of money to be the advertising agency to encourage people to go and have the jab at the beginning of the campaign. And this man rang me himself, but one of his close sidekicks. And he said, Michael, I'd just like to have a little chat with you. You know we're doing all the publicity for me. And I said, yes, I do, yes, I do. Good luck. We'd like you to be the face of the vaccine.
Fuck off. The face of the vaccine?
Yeah.
Are you sure that's what he said?
Yes.
Are you sure he didn't say we want you to be the face of the Omicron variant? You would be encouraging people to go get vaccinated.
Exactly.
What, like Kitchener during the war, your country needs you?
He said, what we're looking for is somebody who everybody trusts, who's of a certain age, who's got the maturity and style, and
Mary Berry wasn't available.
and it's very important for us that people get vaccinated. So I paused while I thought about it, and then asked a question which I always ask when people ring me about anything like that. I said, quite simply, how much? And, I mean, the voice at the end is, Mr. Whitehall, I can't believe you said that. How much? This is for the country.
Yes.
You're doing this. Yes. And these fuckers were getting millions of pounds for doing all the advertising. Well, I was going to do it for nothing. No way.
It's a part of the whole campaign. And you turned it down because there wasn't enough money.
There wasn't enough money. There was no money. So, I'm afraid I
A bullet dodged in the nation, I would have thought. The idea of you being on posters encouraging people to get the vaccine, you look like a side effect.
Fantastic. Thank you, Hillary.
Can I ask, is it genuinely true that you turned down Strictly Come Dancing? You were asked to do Strictly.
Hillary?
It genuinely
No.
was asked to do Strictly. Yeah.
You don't think always ever contested, no?
Yeah.
Why did you not want to do it?
I think the main reason, and I mean this may sound stupid to you, but I'm quite a good dancer. I mean, I'm not a brilliant dancer, quite a good dancer. But for some weird reason, they wanted me to, because these people came to the house. There were 4 fat ladies. No, there were 4 very nice ladies of a certain age who were the producers of Strictly Come Dancing. And they sat and told us all about the show. So I said, yes, well, that would be fine. The only thing I would have to insist on is that we did the rehearsals here in my house. Now, I have a really lovely house in Putney on the river.
Amazing what you can buy with those coal mining wages.
A nice sitting room. And I said that Mrs. Whitehall, we could push all the furniture back, and then we could just do the rehearsals in the room. And for some reason they said, oh no, we couldn't do that. No, you have to come to the studio and rehearse. And I said, oh no, I'm sorry, I couldn't possibly do that.
I think you actually said,
Yeah.
to be brutally honest, I don't need to rehearse because I'm pretty good. I'll just turn up on the day and wing it.
Yes, turn up on the day and wing it.
Yeah.
And then I said, what's the money? And actually the money was quite good. So I said, well, all right, I will do it, provided we can do it here in the room.
In the sitting room.
Yes.
Maybe you could have just got the judges there as well and lined them up on the sofa. Not wanting to go into the studio at all.
My problem too is that I'd never seen the shows, and I didn't know that they had judges and people and all that. Anyway, I said no.
And the nation has been robbed of seeing your slut drop.
There was another reason.
There was one other reason.
The only
Well,
reason that you'd heard of the show, actually, wasn't it?
which I'd heard of, and somebody explained to me what it was. And I looked at Hillary, I looked at my beautiful wife, and I thought, no, I can't do this. Why? There's the curse of Strictly. I just thought,
You'd be worried that you come home and
you'd find Mummy shagging Anton Dubek.
Can I just say though, I mean, Michael did turn it down, but I thought maybe I should just cut together a little tape for them in case they want to come back to revisit this. So
Do you think that's going to happen after he's just referred to the producers as four fat ladies on stage?
I did rescind my message.
That's not how insulting someone works. You can't just insult them and then say something else afterwards.
Yeah, well, I just said they're not in tonight, that's all. But
They are, I think they're over there. They've got 6 seats. Why are we doing it as well? Okay.
But I have cut together a little sizzle tape for Michael, the strict comes on. But actually, I'll put you in, Jack, just in case further down the line they might think about you.
You can't an audition tape for Strictly Come
Would you like to
Dancing.
see my audition tape?
You know that's not
I think roll me tea for the sizzle thing.
It's like a cross between flash dance and one of those adverts that teaches you to look out for the signs of a stroke.
I definitely think Michael needs to work on his floss.
Yes, that needs a bit of work. Daddy, it must be so weird, like, because the reality is, like, the only people that suddenly become famous at your age are normally, like, war criminals. And you have suddenly become... It's true, it's true. And now you get stopped in the street. What's the weirdest, experience you've ever had with a fan? Is it true? Is it true?
Yes, when I was outside the front door.
And
Yes.
someone, and the girl asked you your catchphrase, right?
I was standing outside the front door, and this very pretty girl walked past in her school uniform. Road from us, but they had a boat.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either.
From
Which
road.
Why are you hanging around outside her school?
Standing outside my front door, hanging around the school.
You said she was coming home from school and you were there.
She had a school uniform on and there was a school up the road, so I just more or less assumed that she was a schoolgirl.
So do you regularly stand outside the house when the schoolgirls are coming?
Do you want me to carry on with it? So, she came up to me and she said, "Oh, Mr. Whitehall, I so enjoy your show and you're so much funnier than your son." I said, "Yeah." That old repeat thing. I'm quite comfortable with that situation. And she said, "Could I possibly have a selfie?" And I said, "Absolutely, I'd be delighted to give you a lady have a selfie."
You didn't give it to me.
So she then got her phone out and she said to me, "Oh, just on second thoughts, would you mind if I did a video of you and me?" And I said, "Oh, I haven't got time for all that, I'm sorry." I thought she meant a video, a film. And I said, "You could come up and rehearse upstairs." And what she meant was a video on her phone. So I said, "Yes, that would be fine." So she then, I don't remember what you do, she held the phone up, and then she put it down again. She said, "Oh, it's just one other thing." She said, "Because my father and mother love you and love your show and everything." So she said, "Would you do me a big favour?" And I said, "Yes, well, what?" She said, while I'm filming, could you tell me to fuck off? And I said, no, I'm sorry, I'm afraid. Oh, she said, please, my dad would think it was so funny. And I said, I don't think your dad would think it was at all funny. I mean, can you imagine saying that?
It has become your catchphrase. You've just got to own that.
The dad would probably be doing a catchphrase back at you if he found out you were loitering outside of school.
Loitering.
That is the worst one that I get all the time now when I'm walking down the street. People going, oh, your dad's funnier than you. All the time, every day.
That's so mean.
Why are you so mean? You're the one saying it. I used to be thankful that I wasn't the most famous person in my school, and now I'm not even the most famous person in my own family. No, I've had to stop talking about not being the most famous person in my school, okay? Because I used to bang on about this all the time. But I went to this school with like Robert Pattinson and Emma Watson and all these other. It was a very diverse school. And anyway, whenever this school got written about in the newspapers, they were always name dropped, and I was nowhere near the article. And I was like, what do I have to achieve to get mentioned in articles about this school? Why am I the school's dirty little secret? It's always Hiddleston and Pattinson and Watson. Anyway, I go on all of these chat shows to talk about this. I bang on about it on the radio. The moral of the story is be careful what you wish for. Because 6 months ago, there was a news story about a teacher at my old school that had been arrested because they had found indecent images on his laptop. Daily Mail, front page, pervert teacher at Jack Whitehall's former school. I was like, where's Tom Hiddleston now? They have a picture of me on the front page that you're all wounded. Like I was confused. I wasn't even at school when this guy was a fucking teacher there.
I don't know what this rant's about. I was really excited. It was the front page of the Daily Mail. It's a lovely picture of you. I put it up on the fridge for the fridge man.
Did you read the article?
No, it's irrelevant. It's the front page of the Daily Mail.
You can't edit the piece. You can't put that up on the fridge. You can't just be proud of the colour images. In fact, fuck, you're the mother of the Yorkshire River. Was that Mr. Hopkins? Don't say it! What?
You can't just bandy people's names around like that. The lawyers will be all over
I
it.
always thought there was something funny about it.
Let's get back on point. I want to talk about travels with my father. Of all the places that we've been to on travels with my father, what's your favourite place that we've visited?
Can you remember where you've been?
I love that one where we filmed outside the house in Putney. We did all that filming in the car and then went along the river.
We've been to 27 different countries, and your highlight is when we filmed in Putney.
Well, it was much easier to get there and get back. I can't remember. I don't think I really have a favourite.
America, Thailand, Australia.
Oh yeah, I suppose Australia. Yes. Sorry, I just forget things. I really liked Australia. It's a lovely, lovely place, Australia. Beautiful. We had such a fun time, didn't we, in Australia?
It's great.
Yeah, it was really nice. The only problem with Australia, for me,
Here we go.
is it's full of Australia.
Really?
Need I say more?
Who would hunt it?
What?
See, this is why when we travel, for me, I like going anywhere where there's a language barrier. Because I always used to think travelling with a language barrier is hard until I travelled with Michael and realised it is so much easier to travel to a place where no one understands a fucking word that he's saying. Although you do manage to insult people even when there is a language barrier. Like in Thailand, that was the worst. Refusing to take your shoes off when we went into temples and houses. I know, culturally insensitive. The arguments that we had to get those shoes off.
Why would I want to take my shoes
Oh,
off?
what
Go
do you
into
say
the
about?
house and take your shoes off. I mean, I wear shoes here with laces. I wear quite nice, elegant shoes. Why would I want to take them off and throw them down on the grubby floor and then walk around bare feet in somebody's house? Why?
Because it's culturally
Culturally you crock out.
Do you remember there was a bit of a shoe incident in Australia, actually going back to Australia? Because in Australia, the humble flip-flop is known as a thong. And there was a very young runner on the show, and he came up to Michael at breakfast and he said, "Oh, Michael, for today's filming, have you packed your thongs?" And Michael said, "Beg your pardon?" He said, "Yeah, you're going to need some thongs. Have you got some?" And Michael said, "No, I have not." And he said, "Oh, well, don't worry, you can borrow mine." Explain it's a flip-flop.
You've never liked taking your shoes off though. Like I remember, do you remember when you tried to change our house into a no shoes house? You re-carpeted the whole house. It was like, right, we're going to be a shoes off house from now on. And I always remember, it was when I was still living at home and I was upstairs and I heard you having an argument, Daddy coming back into the house and you trying to get him to take his shoes off, and he came out with the immortal line, which I heard echoing up through the house.
Hillary, this is a home, not a mosque.
Mother, I'm going to ask you now as well. You've been to incredible places. Angkor Wat, Uluru, like UNESCO World Heritage Sites, wonders of the natural world. What's been your most special experience?
I think that my favourite wonder of the natural world, without any shadow of a doubt, was Magic Mike in Vegas.
I still have nightmares about that experience.
You know what they say? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's all I'm going to say.
Did you enjoy Magic Mike? No.
I did go at the beginning of the show, but I thought it was going to be a magic show. I thought it, would have a famous magician like David Nixon or something.
Current reference point there, Daddy?
Do you remember David Nixon?
Just.
Yeah, he used to wear a dinner jacket and all
That's
that.
not going to help anyone know who David Nixon is.
Rabbits on the top hat.
Yeah.
I thought that's what it was going to be. And then I discovered when I went into that huge, great barn of a place, there was a horrible smell, of sort of acrid smell of deep heat. Horrible, sort of sweaty.
It's a very physical job being a Magic Mike dancer. And they obviously, pick up a few injuries. That was the deep heat situation, I think.
You were out of control on that trip, to be fair, because it wasn't just Magic Mike. The following night, she forced us at gunpoint, practically, to go watch Barry Manilow. I thought my first Vegas experience was going to be like something out of A Hangover, drugs and strippers and sweet high-stakes poker. Instead, it was spent watching my mum twerking to the Coca-Cabana in Las Vegas. And 2 hours of my life I will never get back.
You like Barry too?
I thought Barry was very sweet. I won't have a word said against it. The only problem with Barry was that he was quite slow, because every time he sung a song, he had to go off stage and do a change of costume.
Yeah, costume change.
That's the word I was looking for. And he was quite sort of
elderly.
yeah, well, I was going to say, and also quite sort of camp. Is one allowed to say that word nowadays?
I'll allow that.
Yes. So he was always swishing off and then swishing back on, except the swish was a bit slow because he clearly got really bad hips. And naturally, he was probably midway through a hip replacement. So by the time he got off the stage, and then by the time he got back on in a new frock, it was time for the interval, and it just went on and on and on. But he was lovely.
Talk about kettle calling the pot black.
What?
You hardly skipped on like Michael McIntyre earlier.
Nothing wrong with my hips, not at the moment. But poor Barry, but he's a lovely man.
Well, like, if we could go to one more place, if we could have one last hurrah, where would we go?
I don't know, where would you go?
Well, I've always thought we could do a final one-off special to Switzerland. I can take Daddy to one of those clinics. Either that or Korea. We could go to Korea and do a special Netflix crossover, a Squid Game Travels with My Father crossover, where me, my brother and sister compete to the death for your inheritance. Squid Game. We've talked about the language barrier. Like, the reality is, it turns out we've always struggled with the lingo. We was looking through a load of old family videos from our holidays, and we found this little gem. This is Michael, I think in Provence, attempting to talk to a Frenchman, and it is fucking excruciating.
It's a rare moment.
You don't want to retourner to France. Mistral.
Also,
The Swedish order is toujours. Therefore, toujours. Quoi? Sante. Quanto costa? I went into the taban today and said, Quanto costa?
No, it's Italian.
Great fun.
I haven't worked out the French for can I buy some sun cream either. Although that redness may have been from the ravages of alcoholism. You look pretty good.
So weird seeing you in casual clothing. We didn't know that you owned anything other than a three-piece suit.
I do have a couple of two-pieces.
but of course, we found some gems, did we not? So when we were researching the book, I went through all the old family photograph albums, which was very joyous, and I found some quite tasty costumes that Mr. Whitehall.
Some very ill-advised experiments with shorts. And I'm going to share these images with you now, but I have to warn you before you see any of them, these are images that could not be unseen. These are images that will be burnt onto your retinas for the rest of your lives. You have been warned.
And they are genuine.
This is Michael on holiday in shorts. What's that hanging out the bottom of the short there? It's a strong look. And it wasn't just this, no? Yeah, there's more evidence. Hello, sailors!
Please note that the shorts are matched not just with the glasses, but with the shoes.
You were the one who wanted me to wear shorts, because I never wore short trousers, ever. And then Mummy said, why didn't you wear shorts?
Your friendship with Christopher Biggins suddenly makes so much more sense.
When I tasked you to go out and buy shorts, I wasn't expecting those to come back.
Right, okay, fine.
Are there more?
More?
Why are there so many pictures? Were you shooting a calendar? What were you doing in that
What
one?
was I doing in that one?
Have they found you chatting up schoolgirls?
But I then took that.
You look like you're having a shit. In fact, I can see a turtle head poking.
But I then took matters into my own hand and then I bought shorts, I think.
Is that the same pair? Is Daddy just shrunk by this point?
Only your shorts are pretty embarrassing.
Oh, you're cool.
Your brother looks really good in his shorts.
Jack, you look like a twit.
I'm not going to look into it.
He carries himself very well, particularly below the waist. There's so much going on down there, unlike some people.
This is the other one I found, and I don't think you ever saw this, but this is one that I discovered. This is the most bizarre, like, fashion faux pas. What were you thinking in this one when you wore this? Do you remember that?
I do not remember that.
Do you remember we went on that family holiday to Kazakhstan?
It's wrong on so many levels.
You like? Also, who wears a woolly jumper under their swimming costume? Anyway, look, seeing these images, Dave, it's it's no surprise that on the first season of Travels with My Father, you were offered a stylist by the production team. Do you remember that?
I do. Stylist.
Do you remember your response?
I don't remember exactly what I said, but I definitely.
I do.
Certainly a negative. You've still got. Right.
I dug out the email because it's just so amazing. He was offered a stylist by the producer of Travels with My Father. Just someone doing their job, offered a stylist. This was Michael's response. Everyone on the production CC'd in, hence why I have a copy of this email. Dear Mom, like a 20-year-old production assistant this evening, not the Queen. Dear Mom, no, I do not require a stylist. I have been on this earth for 78 years. In that time, I have acquired a style of my own, and like a crab, I always come dressed. So, we're going to end the first half with a reading by your good self, Michael.
I have it here for you. Yeah.
Yeah, a reading from the book. Remember the book we wrote? You're going to read a little extract from the book over here on this lectern.
No, you need the microphone.
You do need a microphone if you want them to hear you, yes. Your voice will need to be amplified. What do you do? Not one to be rushed. Don't let Barry Man lose. He was so slow around the stage.
Wash the jars well in warm, soapy water, then rinse thoroughly under running water.
What are you doing?
Leave the jars and lids.
Is that a marmalade recipe?
I tried.
Sorry.
That is the reading. You're ridiculous.
It's terribly long, this. Do they really want you?
Yes! Just get on with it.
They want to drink, Michael. They've got to go to the bar.
So this is an extract. Sorry, yes, right. This is an extract from the book. I mean, not this actual. It's been typed.
You don't need to explain how printing works, do you? And they know it's from the book. They come to a live book show.
If I had a book here to read from, it would be better. But anyway.
You're reading the whole book. You're reading an extract.
We spent a hot morning filming for the first series of Travels with My Father in Cambodia. By the time we got back to our hotel, I was aching all over. Our director of photography, Mick Potter.
No!
What?
His name has been changed. Don't read out his actual name.
I thought this was the change. No.
Mick Poulter.
Oh, sorry.
Well, no, it's too late now. You said it.
The Lord said don't name him.
God, his wife said.
Our director of photography, Mark Poulter, helpfully suggested I have a massage. He did, however, warn me that when booking it, I should make it clear that I did not require a happy ending.
That's why we changed.
A happy what? I asked him, not familiar with the term, other than in the context of fairy tales and business negotiations. He explained that it was a service performed at the end of a massage that would have made Mrs. Whitehall decidedly unhappy.
Correct.
It was something he had learned by bitter experience when trying to extricate himself from such a misunderstanding, or so he claims. So, Mark Poulter claimed. Don't worry, Vic. I mean, Mark. Don't worry, Mark. Your dirty little secrets are safe with me. A promise I have honoured to this day, other than sharing it with you tonight. The conversation had smooched me. Sorry, I'm thinking of my youngest son, we call Smoocher.
Why in that context?
The conversation had spooked me. So not only did I make it very clear that I would be content with a sad ending, even a tragic one, I also insisted that Jack stay in the room with me during the massage, just to ensure that there was no hanky-panky. He would sit in the corner of the room like a guard policing a prison visit, there to make sure my masseuse didn't get caught up in the moment. The following afternoon, we awaited the arrival of the masseuse, Jack and I lying on the bed.
What?
Was we lying on the bed?
No. Why would we be lying on the bed? Father and son, just there on the bed, spooning, waiting for the masseuse. Can you please change dress?
Just wait. Him on his computer, and me tensing up at the prospect of a sultry young girl arriving at my door, and me having to explain to her that all I needed was just a gentle massage. Jack, of course, thought the whole thing was an enormous joke, and threatened to counter my instructions and tell the girl that I was too shy to ask. But what I really wanted was a good scene to, with all the bells and whistles. There was a knock at the door. Jack started giggling again, and I told him to shut the fuck up. You can't put a price on this sort of father-son rapport. I opened the door to be greeted by the maid, armed with a bucket and a small hoover, a short, portly lady of a certain age, with precious little English, and what sounded to me like the beginnings of a very nasty cough. You, Wild?
Steady with that accent, please.
She asked. What?
Just steady with the accent, please.
Yes, I replied. Could you come back later? No, must do you now. She was clearly a woman with a personality as strong as her very visible forearms. I'm waiting for a massage, actually, so I'm afraid you'll have to come back and clean later. No, she exclaimed. Clean, bopper, massage. I have more clients in 1 hour. I must do you now.
When did you become German?
Oh my God, she was the masseuse. Must do you now. This was not the language of a relaxing spa. It had more of a feel of quick fit. She emptied her bucket of products and asked me to remove my dressing gown, which I did with no great enthusiasm. Who wrote all this stuff?
You!
It's very long.
You should have edited it!
Right. Easy, Mike, giggled Jack, who was being no help whatsoever. He later described me as undressing like a bashful virgin. Boffer proceeded to put me on my front. Is she called Boffer or
Bopper, just Bopper.
Right.
She's been called about 4 different things so far in this story.
It's spelled B-O-P-H-A. That was her name. This masseuse. Proceeded to put me on my front and sit on my back, her ample thighs either side of my neck. It was like being in a nutcracker made of flesh. I thought I was going to suffocate for a moment, such was the weight on my back, and I was pinned in a full neck lock, a million miles away from anything that could even loosely be described as hanky-panky. My member had retreated so far up my abdomen, it could have been mistaken for an intellectual in hiding from Pol Pot. She then began to pummel me, and I was certainly not feeling in any way relaxed. It was only when she released me from her entwining thighs that I realised that the shaking of the bed, which I thought had been caused by the bopping of Botfa, was in fact caused by Jack trying unsuccessfully to stifle his hysterical laughter. He really can be an annoying little shit sometimes. Bopper then started to apply some foul-smelling oils, and suddenly the vapours must have caught her in the back of her throat, causing her hacking cough to explode and overwhelm both her and me. Jack reverted back to being helpless with laughter. I would have throttled him, but was so lubricated by this I doubt I'd been able to get a proper grip on the fucker's neck. Boffer returned to straddle me again and resumed the oiling process. I felt I was being less massaged, more ready for a cross-channel swim. It reminded me of Hillary preparing the Christmas turkey for the oven. I was just praying that Boffer didn't produce an onion. As she worked away on me, Jack could no longer resist the temptation to get involved. Bopper, you've missed a bit, he said to her, with a huge grin on his face, pointing to my crutch. It was time to tap out. Thank you so much, I said as I grabbed my dressing gown, but I feel so relaxed now, I don't think I need any more of your magic touch. She gathered up her equipment, and there was a slight tinge of regret that I never found out what she did with the contraption that looked like a mini Hoover. It didn't seem like the kind of thing to create a happy ending, more a bloody denouement. I thought some kind passing words were the least she deserved after the intense physical journey we'd been on together. So as I walked her to the door, I said, I'd get that cough looked at if I were you. From that day on, I found the only massages I'd be getting would be from Mrs. Whitehall. Let's just say, with her delicate hands and her intimate knowledge of my anatomy, I could expect not only a happy ending, but one that would leave me happily ever after.
Scrub that image off your brains. We will see you all again in about 20 minutes. You are a dirty old man.